we're all here. I know Brighton's eating some food right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, you're good, bro.
No, there's not. It's beers with bands. No food is allowed on the show.
It's not food with man, yeah.
No.
What if it's a smoothie? Smoothies allowed? I'm gonna blend my burger right quick.
Blend my burger.
I mean, I think if you go through the trouble to blend a burger, I feel like I have to allow it at that point.
Smoothies with soul axe.
These are good. These are good spin-offs. I love it.
Let's keep it going.
We're yes-anding.
Yes-anding.
All right. I guess my only question that I have left for you guys is, do you each have a beverage in front of you that you'd like to use for the opening crack of this episode?
Oh shit, we already cracked.
Yeah, we like literally just cracked
this is not cracked, so I'll crack this at least.
Yeah, I'll crack a brand new one because I'll probably.
Yeah, you got to have that one on deck already ready to go. It's a big ass can, so like I couldn't get it.
Oh yeah.
Just
going
big
I like it. I like it.
All right, in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. I happen to get another Oklahoma band on. I think this is a new spot. A lot of rippers coming from Oklahoma. I'd like to welcome the others like us to the podcast. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
What up?
Thanks for having
Dude, I'm doing great. Like I said, it's Friday. I have some drinks in front of me. I'm sitting down with you guys to talk about what you guys have going on. So can't beat that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having us on. Honestly, it's super sick to be on this podcast.
Dude, thanks so much for reaching out. I mean, you guys are doing some sick things, and we'll get into that EP just in a second. But before we get too far, can you go around the room and say who you are and what you do in The Others Like Us?
For sure. I'm going to start with you.
Oh, yeah. I'm Noah. I play bass and do backing vocals occasionally.
I'm Sam. I scream and sing and then play guitar.
And then, of course, I'm Brighton, and I do the drums.
Okay. Like I said, you guys are The Others Like Us from Tulsa, Oklahoma. You guys are like a MidWest Emo meets like fifth wave emo. I half the time don't even remember if those are like the same thing, really.
We honestly don't know.
They're not. I have no idea.
Yeah, sure.
I never got the playbook.
Right.
But you guys did put in. I really love this. Also, because you're drinking one, you guys are also Capri Sun core. Gotta rep those Capri Suns.
We always do. I was gonna say.
Side question with Capri Suns: do you remember in your time growing up that Capri Suns at one point came in like tin cans?
I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like I might have seen like maybe one. Nothing that I've like bought and taken home, but
I remember seeing that they sold it in like a gallon jug before, but not.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't remember the tin can.
Yeah, I just had like this vivid memory of like I went to like the zoo with like a family friend's family, and for some reason we had Capri Suns, but they were like in almost looked like those like tall boy like Coors Light twist off cans. It almost looked like something like that.
Oh, that's
sick.
Yeah, I have seen they've got like Capri Suns at least at some point, and they were marketed for like adults. So like the bags were bigger and like the straw was like thicker, and I've seen a few of those, but I think they were like way too expensive. It was like $3.
Ooh.
Yeah. Nah, you just get a whole case for like what, $1.50?
Yeah,
it's like $6.
Like
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, like I said, tangents happen, and I just had that weird thing ever since like I saw that Capri Sun core. I was like just a vivid memory. But you guys recently as in like May of this year, put out your latest EP called It Takes Time. Nice little 5-song ripper. For anyone that hasn't checked it out, please go do so, and then maybe come back to this and we'll talk about it. No spoilers or anything, but I mean it hits all over on the right notes of like this whole era that we're in, of like this MidWest emo feels. And I mean, like I said, it came out in May, like what's the response been on it? I know it's been a few months. You guys toured a little bit off of it. What's the what have you guys seen from it?
I honestly didn't expect to get the response that we have from the like when we put it out. I thought it was going to be like pretty decent, but like this is blown away any expectation that we've ever had about when we were working on this.
Yeah, this is the first project that, in like no way to talk down, but it's the first thing that I think people like outside of the local scene have like reached out to us and been like, "Hey, I've listened to this and stuff." It's the first time that we felt bigger than just like a Tulsa band. Really kind of got some name out there and felt really good to hear people from different states and places come and be like, "Hey, I listen to this and I like these lyrics and all that."
Yeah, honestly, it's been not life changing, but it's really been like kind of pushing us forward as a band, and I honestly didn't think it was gonna be as big of a reaction as it's been getting.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome that you guys are getting this reaction, because like this EP does sound really great. I mean, even aside, one thing I really loved about this EP is just, and I do want to preface, it's not just you guys' EP that does this, but it's your whole discography that I've dug through, is just the names that you guys use for these songs to kind of just like helps draw you in and make you want to listen to it, just to be like, okay, how does this associate? But I mean, we also grew up in that era of like bands having ridiculously long song names for no reason, and it's just something that I love. And I love that some bands are starting to bring it back, like we see Hot Mulligan doing it, but you guys have been doing it since your first releases. I think I saw like 2019, and I still love all the headlines, all the titles that you guys have done throughout your guys' time.
Yeah, that's kind of you said it right. It was just like those bands back then growing up, like Panic at the Disco and
Like
Fall Out Boy were like the big Panic, like those specifically were the big two for me. Like when I was in middle school, that got me into like emo music. So like that first Panic album was just like all those long song titles. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like I want to do that with my song. So, but we've always been doing.
Yeah, and we like, I think between me and Sam, we've got like really long notes app of just like stuff that we'll think of on the side, and like dumb jokes that we'll put together and be like, we should absolutely use that sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, on this one, like the longest one on this one is starting a fist fight in a Buc-ee's parking lot just to feel something, which is great. Are there any ones, and I don't want you guys to give away ones that might be used for future projects, but are there any song titles that you guys like came up with that just didn't make the cut for what these songs ended up being?
The original name I had for You're Supposed to Say Over when I was writing the song was Shrimpin' Ain't Easy. That's why it's so hard to be shellfish. Didn't make the cut, but I think I might use it for a future song. I think that's a good enough one. I'm trying to think what else.
I was gonna say, I feel like none of our song titles don't get used because we have such a big list. Like eventually,
we kind of just like bank them, and then later on, like if we use them, we'll put a little check mark. Make sure. There are definitely some that I have like had over time that I've gone back to like a year later and been like, yeah, I'm not really like in the same headspace about it. Not as fun about it anymore.
Yeah, I wanted to call Tony Hawk Pro Skanker Whitney Houston, We Have a Problem, but didn't work out. And Brian came up with Tony Hawk Pro Skanker, and I thought that was a better song title. So
I think it is.
But the Whitney Houston one is still like a good clutch one to hang it, like keeping your back
pocket. I've had that. I think I saw it off of a Tumblr post like 5 years ago or something. I've had that in my back pocket for a second. So it might be down the road kind of thing.
Thanks, Tumblr.
Yeah, thanks, Tumblr.
What if people have been tuning into this podcast for excessive periods of times? One, what are you doing? Why do you listen to me talk all this time? But one thing that you kind of gather is I also really love sound clips in songs, and you guys use some pretty great ones. Like there's two in Shred Flanders, but then there's also, I think there's one in Starting a Fist Fight, isn't there?
Yeah, it's Cowboy Bebop.
Okay, that's what it is.
Cowboy Bebop one before the start of it.
At the intro,
and then the Shred Flanders has one at the beginning that I wasn't able to pinpoint. I know the one towards the middle end of the song. That one's from Scott Pilgrim. That took me a second to remember. As to that exact scene, but yeah, that one's from Scott Pilgrim. What's the other one from?
It's from a podcast called My Brother and Me. It's my favorite podcast I listen to, and so I thought that part was really funny. They were coming up with like trying to be relatable to teens, so they're like trying to come up with like a naming convention of like what's your first name's your least favorite soda and last name's your favorite soda, and so they were just trying to figure out how to be cool and relatable to teens.
And like what was the decision behind using like these three and for the songs that they ended up going into?
Man,
the time that it took to put them in there.
Yeah, there's not the most thought was behind the Scott Pilgrim, because when we were in the studio, we were trying to figure out like I was just the producer and we were just talking, and it's like something needs to go there. I don't know if we didn't know if it was like a vocal thing or not, and then we were just coming up with like ideas, and I thought of the party scene from Scott Pilgrim, and I was like, well, the song's about I went to a party once and had a bad time, and that's kind of what the scene was in the movie. So I felt like it fit pretty perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, even with the Cowboy Bebop sample, I think Sam texted me one day and he was like, "We have like 6 seconds before the start of a song that we can put something into," and so we just kind of found something that was cool and could fit in a small time strain.
Now, was that like for the Cowboy Bebop? You have this amount of time. Is this something that you kind of already had in the back of your mind of possibly using at some point, or was it more just like, let's just see what comes naturally if we like go through a Rolodex of stuff?
At least on my end, not to speak for all of us, it's kind of both. I have like a YouTube like playlist of just things that I think you could chop up and throw in a song at some point, or put on like a pedal at a show to tune with, or just something to fill space. And so obviously some of them are a little more like easy to fit into spaces than others. I think sometimes you kind of just play a song and then you have a space of like 15 to 20 seconds that you're like, oh, like I could, put something here, and then you go back and file through it. And
I literally stole this from Henry from Ben Quad. He's got a pedal on his board that you can just plug into your computer and like load, like you could do audio files onto it. So that's what we do between songs, because I'm such a terrible like crowd banter person. Like I'm so awkward. So it's like way better to just like we'll end a song and then like I'll just hit the pedal and like Stone Cold Steve Austin can cut like a little promo while I tune and like make sure that we're ready for the next song. I just kind of have I've got a Rolodex of like what would work as like a sample or it's something I thought would be really funny that we could put in a song, but just 9 times out of 10 doesn't fit at the moment. But you never know. Use it for a future song.
I think out of everyone I've talked to, you guys are the first to actually say that you have like you were saying, like you have a YouTube like playlist saved of stuff that you can go back to. Like most people I talk to, they're just like, oh no, like we just kind of like just somehow like jot it down or remember it. But like I would think about it 10 years later about like, oh, I could have used that.
Right.
Why didn't I think of it? And then like I never wrote it down.
There was when we almost used where that Scott Pilgrim sample was in Shred. In studio, I was looking just through my liked videos. That's where I keep my samples. It's just my liked videos on YouTube, and we almost used this clip from the movie Holes. Just because I thought it was really funny as a kid, and so I was like, we should maybe use it, maybe not. And then we had this SpongeBob clip that almost made it into a song.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, the SpongeBob. Our producer stopped us because he's like, SpongeBob's really weird about copyright stuff, so I don't know if we could clear that or make sure like not get in trouble about it. But
Nickelodeon's got the big money.
Yeah, Viacom.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's always those what ifs of like what we could have used that, but like you said, just hang on to it. Maybe another song in the future will like work. It'll just like click of like, no, this is the whole song. This is the one we're gonna risk it on.
Yeah, one of these days we'll throw a SpongeBob one in and see if Viacom will sue us or
prepare for the biggest legal battle of our lives.
I think you should be okay because there's like that one like hardcore SpongeBob band. I think it's like
just mentioned SpongeCore.
SpongeCore. Yeah, and like they use a bunch of sound clips and like they've done records and like presses and all that stuff. And I mean, you should be fine.
I think this podcast is slowly just turning into how we could skew around copyright.
There's definitely a paper to be written about like how emo sort of adjacent genres do rips and like use merch for companies and things and like do really well. Like I love it. I love just like weird shit on shirts that is like, you know, just like Sonic and then the band name, you know, nothing that has like anything to do with them. But like, you know, people wear it.
Right.
I remember my friends were in a band called Charlie Siren, and they had a shirt that literally just said Charlie and then Siren, but they had a picture of Charlie Sheen on it.
That's sick.
I'll do anything for $20, you know?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, exactly. I think I have a Seaway shirt somewhere in probably a closet at my parents' house, and I can't remember what the wording said on it, but it was just I think Emma Watson in like a bikini on the front, and I was just like, you know, I was like 18. I was like, fuck yeah, take my money, man.
Our friends in the band Sunco, they had a shirt that had just a character from R5 from Fooly Cooley. Or no, just from Fooly Cooley. Sorry, I just said the whole band name, but from Fooly Cooley on it, and it just said Sunfo right underneath. And I was like, that's a shirt. I have it.
That was the first thing I ever said to them. I was like, that's the coolest shit up there.
Fooly Cooley.
Yeah, I think there was like there was also an era, like how we're talking about these long band names. There was also an era of bands when they would just make shirts or any merch, but just use like straight up copyrighted logos, and because no one gave a shit, because there was also this rumor that went around, or whether it was true or not, of like, if you sell less than $1,000 worth, no one's gonna give a fuck, because it takes too much time and too much money to tell you to like sue you and tell you to stop. The most they're gonna do is just send you a letter. So like we said with like the Charlie Siren one, but I think there was a band from New York that had like the full Mighty Ducks logo like on their shirt too. It was really sick. I copped that one too. But yeah, like just the amount of stuff that people would do was great, and I feel like that really died off along with the long band names, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I wish I could have came up with something that's as good as The World's a Beautiful Place. I'm no longer afraid to die, but
you can't really beat that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, the others like us, you guys are still killing it. I mean, you guys are still doing it, still keeping the long band names long song titles alive. Sorry, I also haven't had supper, so I guess this beer is hitting a little bit more.
It's the heat.
Yeah, we're gonna say it's the heat. But no, like I said, this EP has been great. It's got a little bit of everything for everyone. I mean, it starts off pretty mellow with, you know, December 3rd, and goes into this great like Midwest emo track with Starting a Fight. Shred Flanders, I mean, one, it's a great name. But it's also a great song, and the sound clips I feel like add a lot to it, especially like the Scott Pilgrim one just adds I mean, it's in the right moment where it just like hits perfectly, and then you kind of go into Tony Hawk Pro Skanker, which great title, shout out to you for suggesting that one, and then you end off on this like great just ballad of a song called You're Supposed to Say Over, and like it just, I feel like it ends the EP perfectly, and it makes you want to just be like, where's the last half of this EP? Like where's the rest of this full length? There's supposed to be more after this, because you just go through this dramatic moment. But I like I said, overall I feel like this is a great EP and everyone's gonna love it.
It means a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely like the proudest we've been of writing and production, and like, you know, just feeling good about the whole like everything part of the project. So it's really nice to hear.
I know like previous to this EP coming out, you guys did release 3 singles back in like 2021 called Not Enough, You Can't Take the Kids, or You're Gonna Have to Rip This Door for My Cold Dead Hands, and Celebrating Waking Up. With those, if people are listening to those, or they've been a fan of you guys for a while, they'll notice a shift from those 3 songs to this EP, where like those songs are more like almost like indie rock with a little bit of like shoegaze feel in there a little bit, And like we mentioned, this EP kind of shifted over to like this Midwest emo feel. What sparked that change in that like 2 years or year and a half in between these songs?
So the big one is that the fact that these two guys weren't in the band at the time.
Okay.
So I had another guitarist and I played bass at that time, and then we had another drummer who she moved to New York to do college, and then the other guitarist left to go focus on doing college stuff. And so around the time of the pandemic, we had Brighton join. Brighton and I just kind of started messing around with some new songs I was writing, and then last year Noah joined. Just to kind of fill out the sound on bass, because that's our biggest complaint of just like not having a bass, which I think really kind of is the best kind of formation of this band right now, of having at least a bass, and the drummer that we have now I think is making these songs at least better than what we've ever put out before.
I think it's definitely just like having more perspective from different writers. A lot of it was like a lot of Sam at home writing, like waiting to get a full band stuff together, and then having two more people that come in and give like their own ideas and look on things is like a big help to evolving sound and just kind of changing it up.
I will say the first thing that Brighton started adding to these songs were breakdowns towards the end. We wanted to do like halftime breakdowns on all of our songs, and it just kind of made it sound better. So I just didn't say anything about it, but anything to say?
Yeah, I just think that we've like over the year and a half I've been in the band, like we've all kind of learned to play together really well. That happened like really quickly. I felt like I was just the missing puzzle piece. These dudes fit together so well, and I just kind of meshed so well with them coming in first practice and whatnot, and especially going into the studio, we kind of knocked that shit out pretty quickly, working all together. So like, I feel like it's just we're all three kind of meant to be together.
Yeah, I feel like music-wise. I feel like the earlier days in this band were I was wanting to do Midwest emo stuff, but I just didn't know how to. So it ended up being like this weird like shoegaze, alt rock, almost punk kind of thing. And then whenever the pandemic hit, and I kind of took a step back and started getting better at guitar, it kind of turned into what it is now.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome that you guys are like it seems like you found your footing. This is the direction you guys wanted to go, and you're now able to go there because you've all come together, the three of you, to achieve that. I mean, that's a great story on its own, of friendships, and like just showing what a cohesive band can really be when like you're saying, Noah, like it was the puzzle piece that was missing to come in and just knock this out. And like I feel like it really shows on the CP. Like everything sounds so like crisp and just on point, where I'm stoked to see what comes after this, because you guys have to follow it up on a whole higher note.
Yeah,
that's what we're scared of.
That's kind of
we wrote our blue album.
Yeah, really. We're gonna pull a Remo Drive and be like, our first one's the best, and then everything's downhill. Dude, yeah, my voice I'm gonna sound like the dude from Touche Amore all of a sudden. Just be raspy all the time.
Yeah, I do imagine, like, especially when you haven't written a whole lot of stuff, that everyone has that idea of like, I feel like I have to do stuff next, or like I'm not putting out stuff fast enough for people to like keep traction or whatever it is. And so I think it's just important to us to like write stuff that's fun and like stuff that we enjoy playing before anything.
That when we put the EP out, that was one of the things that a couple of guys from Cliff Diver told us about, which is like, hey, you can take a second after putting something out to like be able to like work on new music if you want to like keep that quality higher. And I mean that's kind of what we've been doing. We're about to go start demoing out some new songs and then work on a split at this point and try to get more music out. But yeah, I'm still kind of taking our time with it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that works. I don't actually have to ask that question now. Thank you for doing my job. But also, yes, like that's the biggest point with a lot of bands that I talk to is like, you want to keep this fun and make it not feel like, oh, we just released this, we have to crank out something more, and to the point where like it starts to feel like a job. Like, yeah, end goal for everybody is make millions and millions of dollars.
Sure.
But like,
we're trying to be the next Foo Fighters.
Yeah, exactly. But don't force yourself to get there too soon. Like, step back, release what you're going to release, have fun, enjoy the music that you're putting together, and enjoy the time you're having doing it, because it's going to show and reflect in the music that you're putting out, and it's going to make people enjoy it. I feel like even more. Like if especially like if I go to your guys' show and I see you guys up on stage having a killer fucking time, I'm gonna for sure be like, yo, that set was sick, rather than, you know, like, you guys bored as shit because it's been like so many shows in a row. It's just like, fuck, why are these guys even playing type deal? But like, just keep having fun.
Yeah, I think that's kind of if that's kind of the goal. I feel like uh, if it ever stops being fun, then I need to take a step back and, you know, like figure out what's going on, because that's all I really want to do is just have fun playing shows.
Yeah, especially at this point, like even though we haven't been in the band as long, we've all known each other through the scene in different bands for like 4 or 5 years at this point. And so like we're kind of just getting together and being like homies first, and then like enjoying playing together because of that. And so it is definitely like there's a really big significance that I say all the time to like bands, not to say that we're like a big band, but to bands that are newer. I'm in Tulsa and they come to us and they're like, you know, yada yada, this and that. I would much rather you be really confident in a performance and like, you know, showmanship, and in the music be not as like, you know, super on click or whatever, than someone who plays like really technically good but it just seems like they don't, you know, want to be there at the time.
We've been told to get a click many a times, but I feel like it's just going to make us a little bit less fun. I feel like if we play a little sloppy, but we're still having fun, that's all it is.
Yeah. I mean, as long as it doesn't get too far off track, but also as most people in the crowd aren't going to fucking realize it anyways. They're just going to be like, like even if you were to mess up in a song, just play through it. No one's going to know.
Yeah, unless you physically like stop the show. The only people that are like really in the crowd being like, "Oh, he was like 2 BPM off of his 4 count." Like, you're being an asshole. Like,
Yeah.
you know, just you can think that and keep it to yourself and like totally fine. I've definitely had a show or two where I've been like, "Oh, like I noticed this or that," but like past the minute that I think about it, no one really. Is, like,
But, no, like that's awesome that you guys are, you know, starting to work on new stuff. Like I said, I'm stoked to see what you guys come up with next. Between, you know, what you guys are working on, possible splits, and all that fun stuff. I know you guys toured recently. You guys went out and supported Ben Quad and Forest on their little run. Do you guys have any runs coming up or planned for the near future?
We just did a little like weekender run with this band. It's also called Kaylyn. They're kind of like a shoegaze kind of band. But we don't have nothing too far. We've got another weekend running at the end of October, but nothing too far. We're trying to settle down a little bit and record and just kind of focus on new music.
Okay, hell yeah. Well, you know, if we'll talk dates for that weekender towards the end of the episode, for everyone that's going to be in those areas to go out and check that out. I know we've kind of jumped around with this EP, you know, talking highlights and everything like that. Is there anything that I missed that you guys want to talk about with this EP?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's not like important, but it's a cool little thing that I think makes the song. At the beginning of Shred, whenever the intro plays and it kind of counts down before it starts, there's a little like vocal that was left in of Trace, our producer. His partner is like laughing at the sample that plays beforehand. And I every time I hear it, I'm like, that's the coolest thing ever. Like, I love that is still there. It really like makes that song for me.
I think that the songs. I mean, no, I think we talked about the EP pretty solidly. It tells a little bit of a story, but nothing too like concrete. I'm just proud of it. These are my favorite songs we've been playing, and I'm glad we're playing them and we got it out to everyone.
I agree.
One thing I did want to point out, kind of like we mentioned a little bit ago, how the singles from 2021 were a little bit different leading up to this. Depending on how you listen to everything, they do kind of seamlessly flow into this new EP, depending on how you do it. So if you finish this. Spotify, the reason I say how you do it, because Spotify will play like the newest stuff and then kind of go in reverse order. But if you do it the opposite way, I feel like it'll work, because you have that like shoegazy, like indie rock, and then you go into December 3rd, and it kind of just bridges that gap before it goes into Started to Fight. And I thought that was really cool, whether it was intentional or not, but it's a good way to just kind of bridge that gap into the
man. We're so smart. We think these things out.
We have the next 3 albums.
Yeah,
it's already planned. Yeah.
I will say, I think it's really cool stuff like that happens. I don't think we'll ever write something as grandiose, but I really like when albums all flow together like that. Especially like I always think of Folie Do by Fall Out Boy. If you listen to all of those songs like in order, they're basically all recorded like one time and then pull through. All of them flow like seconds into each other. I think that's really cool. Maybe we just like accidentally kind of set it up.
Totally intentional. So deep.
Well, I mean, now you guys have started it. You guys got to keep doing it for the next EP.
Yeah, I guess we have to figure it out somehow.
I mean, if you really want to get nitty gritty, you could go back and write like new intros and outros for the earlier releases, just to start it from the beginning.
Just like slowly start replacing all the files, and then like gaslighting and be like, it's totally like this. It was always like this. Yeah, it's always been like this.
New art, new.
Yeah, everything changes one day, and it's like, oh, what are you talking about?
Pull a South Park and just do that in the entire.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That episode. Oh man.
They did it so seamlessly too, like that. Yeah.
I am super into the idea of like as a band going back and doing songs like in a different style, or like recording and stuff. I like Ben Quad like repurposing their like
Umpire,
their Umpire riff into like their new album as being a way to be like, it's us, but the whole thing. I think it's really cool.
If you guys were to go back and like redo, let's say you went deep into the archives and wanted to redo something or take something and repurpose it, do you have any ideas off the top of your head as to what you would grab from those previous versions?
I would there's a song, it's I think literally the first song that I ever recorded under the There's Like Us name. I think it might be on it's for sure on our SoundCloud, but I don't know if it's on our Bandcamp. We did a split with this other band that I was also in. And this one song called Are You Feeling Alright? I think it has one of my favorite chord progressions I've ever written. And I would have loved to just like repurpose that down the road at some point. Because like even now, I'll like whenever I annoy the shit out of my partner whenever we go to like Guitar Center or something. I'll just play those chords and they're like, can you play anything else?
We actually we play Not Enough live.
Yeah, we play Not Enough is the only song that's not off the EP and not the new unrecorded song that we play.
It's also just like a very different version. There's like a whole like intro that's added on. The like chorus stuff is different and more like drum heavy. And so stuff like that would be cool to go back and sort of one off and be like, hey, even if this isn't super serious, like here's a different sort of B-side of what the song could have been.
Yeah.
And even like stuff that we will play, if you play like a lot of shows within a couple of months, usually you're just kind of playing the same set, get used to it. And so sometimes, we'll like make a verse of a song halftime all of a sudden, or kind of go into like an offbeat, a punk or whatever, just to kind of mix it up. Like as long as we can keep it on time, like we're super fine to just have fun with it.
Well, I mean, the CP's, like I've said multiple times, and if you listen to these episodes, I repeat the same shit half the time. Like I said, the CP's sick. Everyone that's listening, please go check it out. I mean, it takes time, and it's not that long of an EP, so it's not that much time. Just go listen to it. I tied it in.
It's like like 15 something minutes.
Yeah, which is like the perfect amount of time for an EP. And like I said,
listen to it on your way to work.
Yeah, you get to that last song, and you're gonna wanna hit repeat and just experience it all over again. Like I can't get over how good of a like how much of a ballad that feels like at the last song. Like I want the last half of that LP, you know what I'm saying? But you know, we've kind of hit a lot of points, and we're going to kind of transition now to. So we'll start to transition the later half of this episode. There is one thing we got to do still, obviously, but you know, keep it up. I'm stoked with how the EP came out. I'm stoked to see what you guys do next, and just keep going from here. You guys are killing it.
Oh, thank you so much. Honestly, it's such a weird feeling to hear all this praise out of like, you know, not being. I feel like we weren't taken seriously before this EP. So like now that we are like, I feel like now starting to be a legitimate band. It's like super weird. Like, I feel like a band now.
Yeah. You guys are grown up. You guys got there, man.
That's really what it was here. It's just like being older than 19. Like
we're
not
not
be normal.
I'm not 20 anymore. Recording that 3-song little EP.
You guys have seen shit, man. It's like been different.
Really
But now, like I said, we're going to kind of start to transition. Before we get to the later half of this episode, this is obviously Beers with Bands. You don't have to be drinking on these episodes because I would definitely probably do that for you. But I know you fine gentlemen are drinking some beverages in front of you. What are you drinking on this fine?
Bud Light. I finished mine, so I'm working on a Coke and Capri Suns.
What flavor of Capri Sun and what
flavor Bud Light you got there, Bud?
Bud Light, yeah. I got specific cooler, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking for some NA beers at a Target, and the only NA they had was like these Guinness like droughts, and that just sounded disgusting.
Yeah, I mean Guinness on itself normally is like a little bit much. But I feel like NA Guinness would just be like, might as well just drink like chocolate milk or something.
I was gonna say, yeah, like what's the point?
If you're gonna drink anything that already doesn't have alcohol, you might as well drink something that is gonna be like easy to get.
Like a V8 or something.
Yeah. Water. What do you do?
Yeah.
Are you guys like a Bud Light band? Is that the band's like beer
Not
choice?
even.
We're just a cheap.
We never buy Bud Light. We just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're making a political statement.
Yeah, with everything that happened, just if any of the wrong crowd decided to be like, why are they drinking Bud Light?
This will show them away from.
Yeah. This is the filter. We usually are a PBR band. PBR are like
High Life.
I like
or High Life.
Budweiser.
I have recently been really into Kona Big Wave.
Oh yeah, I fuck with that.
Yeah,
we played a show
really
in
enjoyed
prior. Tahlequah, and they had Big Wave. It was my first time having Big Wave. Boy, it changed my life. I'll tell you what.
Are you still drinking that Trulies?
Yeah, I did start before the episode drinking some Coors Lights.
Nice.
I'm normally also a PBR guy. PBR guy through and through. But I moved, and the liquor store by me, at least the one that I've been going to, only carries 6-pack tall boys of PBRs, and I normally get like a case just to have on hand. And I switched back to Coors Light like I was back in like 25 again.
Right.
So it felt weird. But yeah, so I also have this fine strawberry lemonade Truly that I've been sipping on. This thing is probably one of the most dangerous things I've ever drank.
Oh man, yeah.
Tallboy cocktails
they're dangerous. You cannot taste a lot of them.
It tastes amazing though.
It's so good.
They're good.
It's so good.
Yeah, the Truly they have like a peach tea or a peach lemonade that's spiked, and like it is really good.
Dude, that Monster one in Chicago was
when we went to Illinois, that's when they first put it at, when we were on that.
I've seen them now.
Yeah, when we were in that Ben Quad tour, we went to Urbana, Illinois, because we were playing in Chicago just to go see the American Football House. And we stopped at just this shittiest little gas station, and that's I guess when they first started having the hard monsters. So we had to try it, and they were I think I got the white one, and
I was gonna say there was 3 flavors, and we all got one.
We all got a different one, and I think the white one was definitely the worst.
The OG green was the best.
Green was pretty solid.
It tastes the most like it. My only complaint is they're 5%, but that's not like worst thing ever.
Yeah,
I'm more like an 8% kind of guy.
I was gonna say, give me one of the box.
Yeah, those fucking big boxes will crush you, man. They're crazy.
Yeah, no, I haven't had the monsters yet. I've had the Mountain Dews, the hard
The
Mountain
Mountain
Dews.
Dews are great.
Yeah.
I'm a
The Baja.
I'm a slut for the Baja Blast one.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. It was actually funny. So like they released the Mountain Dew ones in like Iowa before they like I think it was like Iowa, Tennessee, and like one other state or some shit. And I'm originally from Iowa, so I went home to visit family, and I knew that they had them. So like I felt like a moonshiner because I was like just stocking up on cases to bring back.
Taking it across state lines.
Right?
Yeah.
The Baja Prohibition.
One day Taco Bell is gonna lose the license.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
it's
right?
gonna be.
Yeah, we're gonna start learning how to make it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's great that they're doing all these like hard versions of stuff to make us all of us catch back up with our childhood. Because like I had the
Right.
Sunny D ones also, and those ones are also super good.
Actually, yeah, as the Sunny D's, they hide the taste really
It's
well.
crazy.
Oh,
We
yeah.
got the Sunny D's when we were in Springfield on the Ben Quad tour, just because like the next day
We
we're
drank
like
a lot on that
we
tour.
we drank a lot. Just like we need to get some liquor, and I bought a case like a 4-pack of it. It's so good.
Kind of makes me feel less guilty about drinking too, because like, oh, I'm just having a Capri Sun.
Yeah.
Just having a monster. You know what I mean?
It's just Sunny D, like,
Yeah, it's just a Sunny D.
Officer.
Yeah. That would hold up in court for sure.
got spiked to Dunkin' coffee now.
They
No
really?
shit.
Oh
No shit.
God.
I don't know like how out and about they are across the country, but it's crazy.
Spiked coffee. Yeah, man.
It's crazy times.
$20, right?
It is, yeah. Alcohol laws are so weird. They
It's
sell like
so weird.
shooters at Quick Trip now. You can
Yeah.
buy like 99 proof vodka shooters for like a
Yeah.
buck. This world, man.
You guys don't have you guys don't have Quick Trip, right?
Yeah, where are you?
Uh,
Where are you?
So I'm in Minneapolis. We don't have quick trips up here. We have I don't even like.
It's like 7-Eleven or something.
There's like
yeah.
a whole bunch
No,
of
we have like it's like a subsidiary of 7-Eleven. Like I can't remember the name.
12/8 or something.
Yeah.
Holidays. Yeah, we have holidays.
Okay.
But it's weird up here because like we can't get alcohol at like gas stations or like grocery stores. Like we have to go to
Like-
designated liquor stores.
Oh, okay.
Any alcohol or hard liquor?
Any alcohol. So like even if we go to like Target, they just have like NA stuff and then like
Yeah.
the mixers for it, which is just weird.
So weird.
But like I grew up in Iowa, like or at least all of Iowa, you can get liquor, hard liquor, and like alcohol in general at like gas stations, CVS's, fucking like grocery stores, everything. So like we would just go to the gas station anytime we wanted to get a new case of beer for the day or whatever
Yeah.
party we're at. So when I moved up here, I was like, this fucking sucks.
Oh man.
It's kind of new here. We didn't really start getting like they didn't sell wine at Walmart until like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of a newer thing. But I think the ruling is like it can't be above a certain amount of like proof.
Yeah.
Like you can
I was
sell
gonna
like
say,
little
even-
bottles, but you
Even the
can't.
little shooters at QT right now are only like 30.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't sell anything bigger than like a shot. I think like per. It's just like little fireballs and stuff like that. You're not buying like a bottle.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Like that, and then I mean they'll sell like tall boys and like in whatever malt liquors around, but yeah, nothing
People
crazy.
just fucking
Yeah, you
drunk
can't-
drive.
Yeah.
You can't grab a
You
Bacardi
can't-
bottle at fucking Quick Trip or anything like that. Like,
Dude,
we
Missouri
we
was
went
crazy.
to Missouri and they were selling
was
like
it in Missouri?
they were selling
Yeah.
like
Oh my
full
gosh.
whiskey bottles at Walmart.
It was
and shit.
crazy.
Yeah, it changed our
Oh my gosh! And then we were when we were in St. Louis, we were talking to who was it, Connor from Foxing,
Yeah,
and he was
outside
just
with
like
the
he was
beer.
just like, yeah, you could just walk outside with a beer, and we're like, what the hell? That's like you can't in Oklahoma. Yeah, it's like it's strict
Yeah.
inside, but like
Yeah,
yeah, he was just,
alcohol past this point.
yeah, he was
Yeah.
he was just like, yeah, you just like walk around. It's like, what the heck?
I think one of the craziest things I saw was me and my friends were driving through Indiana one year, and there was drive-through liquor stores.
Oh, they have those in Colorado too. I was
That's so weird.
super surprised. Yeah, I went with my girlfriend's family one time, and We just went through drive-through liquor store, got like
Jesus
6 or 8.
Christ,
Yeah,
that's
it was crazy. It was super mind-blowing.
I will say it makes sense because like you're gonna get in your car to drive home anyway.
Yeah,
like,
I was
people
gonna
want
say
to
you
go
might as
home.
well just skip a step.
Yeah, they're just like he's walking home. I
Especially
don't want
in
to
this.
talk.
Bro,
Yeah,
I wish
yeah.
they had drive-through liquor
Oh my
stores.
gosh, yeah, I don't want to get outside.
But I feel like we're at a good point. We're all loose. We're been talking about some of the spots from tour.
Got a few-
This is where we kind of now we're in the later half of this episode, which is always my favorite part of the episode. This is where we talk about some fun stories from you guys' time of music, whether it's shows, tours, time recording. As I normally say, if I was good at technology, I would put this in like in my hands. But anything horrendous or tremendous or any adjective in between, like just imagine that right there for everyone watching.
Edit that in
this.
there.
Yeah. But
I'm trying to think.
I haven't really had any horrendous moments yet.
I was gonna say, you've kind of gone a few years on us in terms of doing
You've
shows
been
and tours
you've
and
been
everything.
playing longer
If
than
you have
us.
any like sort of like really crazy stuff. Not to throw names out there or anything, but Noah was like in the band that did the split with Ben Quad on their first project. Who's in my heart, so he's got at least a couple years on us of like doing music. So
Yeah, there was a couple cool ones whenever I was younger. There was this one time I was on tour and I think it was our radiator or some shit thing that kept everything in the engine cool.
oh
It
yeah,
was not working out, so it turned out like a 4-hour drive turned into a 12-hour drive because we had to pull over every 20 minutes. We had a couple gallon jugs that we had, and we had to fill up the radiator with water just to try to get to where we were going because we were in bumfuck nowhere. I think we were like outside of Wisconsin or something. We get to the show, 4 hours turns into 12 hours, get to the show, and there's like 3 people there. But it turned out really cool because the 3 people there, I was playing with the band, the Neo Romantics at the time. They had been around for a little while, and the 3 people there knew all the words to the songs. They were super cool. They bought merch. Like it made the whole like shit show of a ride down there well worth it. Definitely.
hell yeah.
I will say the worst thing the worst show that kind of happened. This is before with the others. Like I said, that's before these 2 guys ran. I was 19. This is like the first year of this band, and we were booked to play at a bar with 2 metal bands and like a post rock band. And
the Rabbit.
This is Badass Renee's.
Badass Renee's. Yeah,
we were never playing there ever again. Oh my gosh, it was like they didn't tell us. Like I was 19 and so stupid, and I didn't know that I needed an affidavit from my parents to be like, hey, they're cool with me playing in a bar. And so they were like, right, either you get it, which it's like across town. So we would have been late to the set if I ran home, made my parents sign something, and then going back.
Gotta get that shit notarized too.
Yeah, really. And it's like,
Damn.
it's so stupid. So it was rather we missed our set to get this affidavit, or we just don't play at all. So it's like a lose-lose situation. And so with one of the metal bands, their bassist is like a day one homie of ours. And he just forged my parents' signature onto it. So he technically, and he still that was the best part about the whole night, is that he still calls me his dad till this day, just because he signed us
on a legal document.
Like, he was my dad, and it got us into the show, and then they kicked us out like right after the set. So it was like great. Anyways, great experience.
Yeah, I remember one time we were playing San Diego. We got added to the show like last minute, and for some reason they put us as like the fucking headliners at playing at 11:30, and we're from Iowa. And we're like, why the fuck are you doing this to us?
Really.
But 2 of the dudes in the band were under 21, and so when we got there, they were like, "Yo, those guys can't come in until 5 minutes before you guys' set, and they have to be out of the venue by 5 minutes after you guys' set." And one was the drummer, so we had to set up his entire kit and like do everything for him, and it was fun.
Yeah.
And like me and 2 of the members were above 21, so like we were inside because like playing, we also got I think 2 free pitchers of beer. So we were like, well, someone's got to drink it. So
yeah,
like,
right.
we stayed inside, but like when you would leave the bar, you'd like walk across, because it was like in this strip mall, and you walk to the end of it and then go to the other side, and there was a liquor store. So we would just go over there and grab like whatever the guys in the van wanted, and then just like hook them up so that they're like chilling in the van until like they gotta play, and then do whatever. Like we didn't let the homies be dry. You know what I'm saying?
Can't let them go drink with.
He got to drink and he didn't have to unload his own kid. That's amazing.
Yeah, I know. Looking back, yeah, he got lucky.
Need to get that guy.
I was gonna say, the whole tour with Ben Quad and works is like a dream come true. And one of the things that came out of that was at our first show in Springfield, or like our first show on the road at Springfield, we got to meet our buddy Emery, who out of the last 11 shows we have played, they have been to 7 of them, including last night, and they live up in Columbia, Missouri. So like, wow, yeah, they came up to us after our set, and they were just like, I didn't know who you guys were before yesterday, and you guys are now my favorite band. And so it's like crazy to be able to like have a homie that will go literally drive 5 hours just to go see us play at a bar in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then drive 5 hours back to Missouri.
Gee, yeah, props to them. Like that's fucking amazing to do that.
They are. There is this like Emery, especially being a part of it, but there is this greater sort of circle of people on Twitter that like all to get together and like meet in the middle of places and shows, and like they're always driving like 5+ hours to different states to see these fests and things like that, and like it's all just because they just love like seeing friends and hearing music. And so seeing that like in person to us was so inspiring and like felt awesome. And now like we feel like we've known Emery for years, considering it's been 3 months and some change.
Yeah, that whole tour just kind of made it like kind of introduced us to the whole like Twitter DIY space, and like we made so many friends, and like it's and I legitimately, I've said this to the other guys, like whenever tour ended, was like I want to go back on the road as soon as possible and like keep doing this because it was so fun.
It is, yeah, just meeting like I don't know, it's very eye-opening to do music with people that you have listened to for so long and like sort of considered heroes, and now they're on this same level as you, and like they're just cool people.
They're so sick.
That most of that entire tour happened because I DM'd Forrest, and I was like, hey, like when I was 15, you guys genuinely shaped like how I listen to music. You're one of my favorite bands. If you ever need to come to America, I know a guy that does booking. Like I don't know how far he can get you, but like I can help you out. And they immediately, obviously they're like 10 hours ahead of us on the time zone, so it's like 1 a.m. And they DM me back and they're like, yeah, like absolutely, like we've been wanting to do this forever. Let's get it going. And so I DM Sam, and Sam's like, no fucking way. Yada yada. And across the coming months, it's just Instagram DMs whenever they're awake, and then we trade whenever Anthony's up, and we get stuff going, and then like eventually across all this flip flopping, they fly into the States. They're here for like 3 weeks, and they play this like crazy killer fucking tour.
Yeah.
It was really, really eye-opening just to see these people, and they're just like the nicest dudes. Like they're just happy to hang out and be friends, and just like watch South Park and Airbnbs, and like see, like genuinely just the coolest.
When we played Kansas City with them, and we didn't have any plans of like where to sleep after the show, so we all 10 of us, Ben Quad, Forrest, and us, all got an Airbnb, and we just like all got super drunk and got super high and just watched South Park. And one of my favorite things, it was really funny. They were interviewed by the New York Times and had an article written about them. So they were like upstairs until like 1 a.m. like talking to this dude from the New York Times, and I was like, I mean, I should get these guys like food. And so I tried to DoorDash pizza, and I saw there's Papa John's nearby. It turns out I ordered Papa John's from Kansas City to Tulsa, so they're like delivering to my house in Tulsa. So I was like, cancel. And then they like only refunded me 13 of like the $60 I spent on that. And so then
I don't think I knew that.
Oh yeah, actually, I spent so much money.
I just remember you being like, "We're getting pizza," and then pizza showed up. Yeah, I was like, "Yeah,
dude, yeah." We eventually found this local place. Man, I spent like $100 on pizza that night just to try to feed us.
Gotta send an invoice to.
I'll text Daryl from Force about it and be like, hey yo.
I don't know the conversion.
Yeah, I don't know what
currency dollars. 16 USD.
One fun question I've been asking a lot of bands, mainly because even though this is a show based around bands and beer, one thing I also love and miss about the road is all the the fun little spots or the nice little spots you stop at to get food.
Yeah.
In your guys' time,
Yeah.
whether it was on that run, what are some spots that you want to hit again, or like cities you want to hit again, just to try or eat those foods again?
The only reason why I'd want to go back to Kansas City, that our show was kind of a stinker, and we've had merch stolen from us and at that show. But the only reason I'd go back to Kansas City is there's the place that we ate the next morning called Kansas City Joe's Kansas City, which is just this great barbecue spot that we all went.
I think it's Kansas City Joe's.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just like this old gas station that they renovated into like a barbecue spot, and it was really really funny when Force's lead singer was ordering. He didn't know what like a full rack of ribs was, so he orders a full rack of ribs, and like it was just like, I didn't expect it to be this much. It was.
I think between the 10 of us, without understanding like American barbecue expectations, like $200-300 easy.
Yeah,
like, on everything.
They spent a lot on that.
Like it was a lot of food, but it was definitely really good. They're like I know in Oklahoma there's like an Oklahoma Joe's, so I imagine it's probably just like an easy way to offshoot barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
But I know when we played, was it Springfield? Was that where the emo ice cream place?
Yeah,
was?
that was.
Yeah,
it was attached to the venue that we played, but they closed like I think like 30 minutes or something before we got there. But it was like an emo like ice cream place, and it was like, I'm trying to remember the flavors. There's one called Crunch Crunch Crunch. It's supposed to be like Paramore, and man,
they're all named after like
it's
like Story
all,
So Far and like old.
There's like American football one. There's yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It was. We just got there like 30 minutes after it closed.
Yeah.
It closed at 6. We got there like 6:30. So definitely have to like add it to our list.
Yeah.
30 minutes.
The next time you guys are going through Des Moines, I don't know if you guys have heard of a Zombie Burger.
Burger?
Yeah, so it's the main location is in Des Moines, Iowa, but yeah, everything's kind of like zombie themed. It's kind of just like crazy style burgers, and then they also have like a crazy line of like just milkshakes and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I actually have never eaten at that location, but I think they have like one of their burgers is like the buns are actually just like grilled cheese sandwiches and shit like that. Like it's like probably some stuff you want to like eat and then just go take a nap afterwards.
Yeah.
Did you tell them how this was handed out like
ribs?
Yeah, they were like giving out like slices.
We were talking about Kansas City or just Kansas City. The pizza place we also ate at the Airbnb where it was actually really good. It was called Poppers. And the only reason I thought it was really good is because they had bread, like the way they did breadsticks, they had a thing that was nacho breadsticks. So it would be like cheesy bread, whatever, and then they put nacho cheese and then jalapenos and like pico on it, and it was so good. But it might have also been because we were very drunk.
Did you talk that where we played in St. Louis, how they hooked us up with the chicken?
Oh yeah,
that was really fun.
The platypus part.
Yeah, platypus in St. Louis was sick. They the owners, like one of them runs the bar and the other runs the kitchen, and the dude that runs the kitchen just loves touring bands. And so if you book a show there and play, they'll hook you up with like a free meal, and it's like
fed all three of the touring
that's
bands.
The nicest we have ever been treated.
Half of the drinks.
Yeah.
Super cool location, great chicken too.
Yeah,
like
hell yeah.
If I can really shill for like the place that no one has brought up yet, we when we were in Illinois, went to Overweiss. I was gonna say like Overweiss, because I don't know how many states that they're in. Obviously, it's like Illinois, Missouri, but they're like a dairy shop, and they have their own like glass milk bottles, but they also do like teas and lemonades, and like ice cream,
milk.
The place that we went to on the way back, they were like attached to a burger place too.
Yeah,
so they had chocolate milk on tap.
They had chocolate milk.
Yeah, they had like a free refill chocolate milk. It was crazy. We all like took the bottles.
I still have
I still drink out. I drink out of the bottle. Yeah, no, definitely shout out Overweiss. So we should have them here.
Okay, well, next time we go to Des Moines. Yeah, whenever we go to Des Moines, we gotta take you and we go get zombie burger.
Yeah, I'll drive down. I'll meet you guys there. We'll have a great time.
Meet us halfway at Des Moines.
Yeah, well, or we go down there, we meet there, and then you guys just have a show booked in Minneapolis. Then you guys come up here. I'll get some Bud Lights, have
Yes,
free to stay.
yeah.
We'll hit some good eats up
But my
here.
man,
Yeah, we're trying to make our way up to the more northern Midwest. Yeah. We've got a lot of friends up there, so we definitely want to Wisconsin.
Wisconsin,
Yeah.
Ohio, like definitely all up in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
honestly,
up in-
I think we would just move up north. If
I
we all had
think
the
so.
money to do.
I mean, you're not the first Oklahomans to say that you would rather be here than in Oklahoma. So
We're not.
And we won't be the
by any
last.
means.
Yeah.
I think we're like very obviously proud of the scene that Oklahoma has, but it is definitely like a group of people that are all very like. If it was any other state,
Yeah.
we're very proud to like represent each other, but I feel like sometimes it's kind of like the music scene against the South.
I love the music
Yeah,
scene here in the state.
Yeah.
kind of how I feel about Iowa. That's is also gone very political and downhill. Thankfully, I live in in a more of a blue state than that. So,
Yeah.
They didn't they just legalize like not even a week ago maybe? No, they just.
Oh yeah, starting the first we legalized, but it's weird because even though it's legal, no shops can be open yet. No shops are open yet because we still have to start. They were able to start growing officially on the first. So the only actual dispensaries that there are, which I think there's only one or two as of right now, are on the reservations. But they've been, killing it. But it sucks because the nearest one is like 4.5 hours away. So
yeah,
we still doing black market deals in town. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm gonna say every other corner has a dispensary.
It's
here in Oklahoma.
We're also just like I've noticed the different states just handle things differently. Like here, you can pay like $2,000 and you can sell. It's really easy to like get into, and so I think people think that it's like lucrative, whatever. It's definitely like the most blue thing about Oklahoma right now. I feel like, but power to the people.
It'll be interesting to see what it's like in maybe like late 2024 or at least early 2025 when the shops actually start opening up. Funny enough, like the bill got passed because it was like kind of tucked into like another bill that like Republicans really loved, and then oh no, the drugs.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm stoked on it. So we'll see how it goes.
I was gonna say literally like just be legal, be not 100 degrees. You're beating Oklahoma.
Yeah,
That's really what it is.
Yeah, but oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the motto. It's just like, yeah.
We got casinos though.
Yeah. And we have a Margaritaville.
Yeah, we do have a Margaritaville.
That's all that matters.
Not every state has one of those.
We also have one. Ours is in the Mall of America.
Oh, you
I
guys
forgot
have a rainforest cafe.
They're right across.
It's right across. They're right across from each other too.
Yeah. They competition stare at each other.
Yeah. I don't know if I've told this story on here, and I don't know if I probably should, but it's gonna be to me it's really funny.
I'm here for it now.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
So my parents came to visit, and because I had been living up here for probably maybe a year at that point, and they came to visit for the first time, and I was like, "So what do you guys want to do when you guys get here?" And they're like, "Oh, let's go to the mall," which locals here don't go to the Mall of America.
You guys hate the mall. Yeah.
We fucking hate it.
Like it's kind of like the gathering place here. Like people are like, oh, let's go to the gathering place.
Big gathering place. Yeah. Just like no one cares here.
But like, so before they got here, I took a couple really big hits, and I was just like starting my like ascent to the clouds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like they get here, I go out, say hi, like they get out of the car, like hug me or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, you drive us to the mall," and I'm like, "Fucking cool." Thankfully, my old house, thankfully my old house was only like 5 to 10 minutes away from the mall, so it was super easy to get there. But then like we start walking around the mall and like going in, and like it's just starting to build up, and like I'm starting to get to that point, and they're like, "Oh, let's eat at the Rainforest Cafe," and I was like, "Fucking why?" And like for people that have not eaten at the Rainforest Cafe, there are fucking animals just in the ceiling and everywhere. Yeah, and like they're just popping out and just doing random shit. So like I'm sitting there at this table my parents around me like I'm a good Christian boy, and like next thing I know, there's a fucking gorilla just like popping out of the fucking wall, and like I'm just like I'm trying to contain myself so hard as to like not freaking out and not trying to look like I'm just high as shit at that point. Thankfully we walked around the mall for like 4 hours, so it went away decently fast, but
in reality,
that
it
was
just a
not
waiter.
fun.
It's like, sir, would you like a refill? Sir,
And look-
at the side register.
Oh, Chinese $14 chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
Just like staring at me.
Yeah,
That makes me think of this story of this other encounter. The last encounter I had with some of the cliff diver guys. I work at this 600 cap venue in Tulsa called the Vanguard, and I just run the door there. And there's just this one show where like half of cliff diver shows up and whatever, and so I start talking to Joey, the lead singer, and he's like, he busts out an edible, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to split this?" And he says some. I thought he said it was 13 milligrams, and I was like, "That's not a lot." Yeah, sure. And I'm not a weed guy at all, so like anything will knock me on my ass. I probably misheard him, and he probably said 30 or something. Because I take it, and I'm high off my ass, and fucking Gil, their guitarist, just keeps coming up to me, and he goes, "I know you're high. Everyone knows you're high." I'm just like, "Dude, please stop."
I never cannot be high again.
I was like, "Please, I'm trying to."
Talk to God all you want.
I was trying to play it as cool as possible, but he keeps coming up to me and then like bringing other people to me and be like, "Do you look high to you?" And I'm just like, "Fucking stop." And I'm at work and I'm suffering through
Those
this.
diver cannot trip.
That's
You
so
know?
Yeah.
funny.
I just don't trust Gil anymore.
Voted worst trip sitters of the year.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh. Man, like the amount of like high edible stories. Well, I only have like one, but I'm sure we could just like tell a crazy amount of that's another spin-off like we were talking about earlier. Like we just got to talk like crazy high stories with bands. I'll work it in. We'll figure it out. We'll talk.
Wizards. Weed with wizards. We're gonna
Only with Midwest Emo bands.
only with Midwest.
Speaking of Wizards, Limp Wizards. If anyone saw my TikTok, my Instagram video recently, they sent me a nice little care package, and I know my head's been blocking it this entire time. But I got the Limp Wizards plushie.
No, the little vial guy.
It's actually every time that I see them pull up to a show with those, I always want to ask them how they got.
Yeah.
They have like really interesting.
We share, our producer is the guy who did REP is like does all the Limp Wizard stuff, so we become super good friends with those guys.
They're actually not like necessity like number one reason we got on here, but the last time we played a show with them, we kind of asked, we were like, "Hey, like, we're really interested, like we love this podcast, you know, how did you guys get on there?" And they're like, "We just shot them a message." So you just kind of talked to them, and they're cool about it. And I was like, "Oh, sweet!" Like we're super interested. So they kind of got us in the door.
Well, I mean, those guys are killing it. You guys are killing it. Oklahoma in general, I feel like is killing it. I mean, I know I'm only going to list like 4 bands because I only know 4 bands from Oklahoma. But you guys, Wizards, Ben Quad, Cliff Diver. Actually, shout out to S. Reedy. He was on the podcast as well. But I mean, like you guys are all doing killer stuff. I know we kind of talked about some not so fun moments from you guys' time in music for these stories, but before we fully end off this episode, I just want to know, in each of you guys' opinions, what is your favorite moment in The Others Like Us that you've experienced or had?
The Chicago show.
Yeah, I was gonna say our last show on the tour with Ben Quad and Forrest was a sold out Chicago show, and it was our first sold out show ever. So it was dream come true kind of moment, and honestly, I almost cried on stage. I was just like, "This is awesome."
Kind of felt like what I would imagine like a high school reunion felt like, or like a graduation, where it's like we just spent all this time together. Like
very nostalgic in the moment.
Yeah, we've known each other for a little bit. We've all know the Ben Quad boys a little bit. Forrest was new in, and they just started being homies and clicked really well. So it really felt like it was very bittersweet. We got
to meet a lot of like people at the end of a trip again, it was like sold out, so it was really cool to play the venue. And like I know Sam got to hop on and do vocals with Ben Quad.
I did. You're part of it. That was sick.
We got to meet Tades from Hot Mulligan. He was at
there,
the show.
yeah.
We got to just see all kinds of people. And I think that was the coolest thing.
We got to meet Excuse Me, Who Are You? And Tiny Voices and Your Arms Are My Cocoon and like all these sick bands I'm such a huge fan of. And they were just there.
Yeah, to kind of add on to it, even though obviously it was a show, we stayed an extra day in Chicago the day after. So obviously as Oklahomans, like we don't really know much about the city.
Sure.
But, we had some friends in Arcadia Gray that showed us around like the whole day.
Yes.
And then we got to see
there was like Little China.
Yeah, like Little China, everything. It was genuinely like one of the best things we've ever done. It was really, really
dude, fuck yeah. Like that those are always that's actually the moments that I miss from tour. I didn't play. I just like drove and like sold merch and like TM'd basically. But just the friends and the people that you get to finally meet, or if you go on another run and you get to see them again and stay with them, like that's the shit I miss. Like I got friends across the country that I wish I could just get on the road again and see them or just hang out with them. But that's amazing that you get to experience all that and meet all those people, because like I still have not met the Excuse Me dudes or most of the whole Wisconsin scene. Like half of them have all been on the show, but I haven't met them yet. Like I said, you guys, hell yeah.
I agree.
Like,
Yeah, totally.
But no, it's awesome that those are key moments. And I mean, like I've said multiple times, the CP's sick. You guys are killing it. If anyone's looking for merch, music, or you guys in general, where can they find it?
Merch, we don't have anything online. We're trying to set an online store up, but
if someone like really wants merch shipped to them, we can get it done.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just shoot them a DM.
Yeah,
we can get it.
like make it seem important. We'll get it worked out.
Speaking of DMs, literally just the others like us everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, X, fucking TikTok,
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter, MySpace. You know, if there's a social media, we're probably on it. Tumblr. We don't do have a Tumblr.
We're mostly like in respective like find us spaces, mostly Twitter and Instagram. Like if it's anything to like actually talk to us, Twitter,
Instagram. And it is just the others like us everywhere. No dot period underscore whatever. Just plain and simple. And then our music's everywhere. You know, Spotify, Deezer, Napster.
DistroKid got us covered.
DistroKid, yeah.
Well, depending on where you found this episode, whether you know it's Facebook, X, Instagram, Threads, or you watched the YouTube version and got to see their lovely faces like I did this evening, make sure you check the description, hit those hyperlinks, go follow them on all the socials, stay up to date, be ready for that's the possible split, new music. I know we talked about that Weekender in October. Where are you guys planning on hitting for those?
We're doing dates? These will for sure be announced by whenever this comes out. But October 26th, we're playing Oklahoma City with Artway Amphibians and Jockey, and then the 27th we'll play in Tulsa with Troubled Minds. Then we're gonna follow Troubled Minds on the 28th to I think Kansas City. We haven't got a venue yet, but Kansas City is the goal.
Quick question for you: when do you put this out?
So this is gonna come out.
Will it come out after September the 1st?
Yes.
Okay, so
we have a big announcement actually.
This will be the first time we announce it before we actually like announce it. We're announcing this next Friday. It's what do you want to say? What it's called?
Sure, yeah. Like describe the thing or
no, just what it's called.
Oh, I don't know if it's the actual name.
We're doing a festival with Quinn from Twitter. He's one of the big DIY guys. And November 11th. It's called, I think we're calling it Shadow Wizard Money Fest or something.
Shadow Wizard Spell Exchange.
Yeah, Shadow Wizard Spell Exchange. And the lineup is Tiny Voices, Summer Brews, Trash, Hekra, Goodrich from Tulsa, Me Too Thanks from Oklahoma City, us, and then Redstone from Oklahoma City. So it's this huge. We want Tulsa to become the next big city everyone wants to play in, and so this is going to be the first step to that.
I think you're the first person we've like aside like leaking it to like a friend or something officially told in like a capacity. So
yeah,
it's super cool to say it out loud.
Hell yeah! Well, I'm honored. If anyone's listening and you already saw the post about this, about like this fest thing happening. Just remember, you heard it here first.
Here
considering
first.
This was recorded.
Your number
What's
one
prior?
source of information is
Yeah.
right here.
This is
Here's
it's
Vince.
August 25th. I haven't
Right
right
now.
now.
8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Central.
This
We got
podcast
some-
is gonna come
oh,
out
shit, Central.
tomorrow.
Right. Just I'm gonna adjust my schedule real quick. And do that. No, that's awesome that you guys are helping with that to make Tulsa like the spot to also go. Because I mean, we have right now, I think there's like Excellency Fest in like Michigan that's pretty big. Obviously, Summit Shack does Fochella, which is also gotten bigger and bigger. It's awesome to see like these DIY more focused festivals get bigger. Because yes, they're like big festivals, nothing to knock on them, but it's nice to see like the homies get to play and like meet up and like do all that stuff. Like I've also been thinking about possibly doing something in the Twin Cities. It's on the back burner. I gotta figure out a couple more things, but once that goes in full motion, basically everyone that's been on is gonna get an invite to fucking route some tours up here. And do some shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like those are honestly the best shows. It doesn't matter if 5 people or 500 people show up, as long as like the homies bands are on and we're all having a good time.
People
you know
will-
what I mean?
People will be
Fuck
there.
yeah.
We could play to 5 people, and like some of our best friends' bands are on, and it just makes it worthwhile.
We've taken shows that we knew were not going to be good, but we love the bands that we would play with. So
there's
we'll just
definitely
That's like the entire reason this November like fest or show whatever is just because like we just asked friends like, hey, like we'll set this up, come down and play. I'm like, yeah, we'll absolutely do it.
if you can come to Tulsa, Oklahoma, we'll watch you play.
We'll fix it all up.
Literally.
Fuck yeah. Well, everyone listening, be ready for that. Well, the announcement will already be out, but be ready to go get your tickets for that as well.
Yeah.
If you're in the areas, go check them out on that weekender. There's some sick bands that they're going to be playing with. I mean, other than that, like I said, you guys are killing it. Stoked for what's coming next. Hell yeah on the festival.
Hell yeah.
Go rip those sets. But I mean, the others like us. You guys aren't like us. You guys are killing it right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
It's,
you so much.
It's been really nice to be on and like just chat and shoot the shit. Yeah. First time meeting, but like feels like we've known you for a bit. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's very like indicative of the process.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate that. I'm all about just having a fun, chill time, just talking about stuff.
Yeah.
And I thank you so much for reaching out to be a part of this and actually, after we've recorded for this amount of time, for actually being a part of it. I really appreciate it. Like I told everyone, go listen to the EP, be ready for dates, go check out all the socials, and be ready for everything that is coming next. Other than that, keep drinking that Bud Light, keep having a good time, keep those Capri Suns ripping. And I'll catch everyone on the next episode.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
See
Your beers with bands.
know.
Beers with bands.